What's going on, guys? Boss6 here, back sharing another video, and today here to give you a pretty interesting album review for you guys. Today I'm going over the new studio offering from Corrosion of Conformity, or COC if you will, Good God slash Bad Man. That's what two ways instead of one, but okay, whatever. Anyways, this album comes out on the 3rd of April of 2026 on Nuclear Blast Records. This is their 11th studio album overall. It's been formed in Raleigh, North Carolina in 1982. And basically, these guys have been kind of like the forerunners of what we know as Southern metal, Southern rock, whatever you want to call them. This band really did change their sound as the years have gone on, because originally, like way back in the 80s, this band was more so of a like hardcore punk, like crossover act, if you will. And I actually did go over one of their albums. I believe Animosity came out in 85, way back on my channel. And I actually did talk about that album, and I really enjoyed that from what I remember. And as the 90s go on, they would really start to change their sound for the better. Like, Blind was kind of like a big jump in their sound, where they were experimenting with more groove, heavy metal, more so that stoner metal kind of vibe. And then you get albums like Wise Blood, Deliverance, and In the Arms of God, and, America's Volume Dealer. Like, they were really honing in their craft with that southern metal, kind of stoner metal kind of sound. And this is their first album in 8 years since No Cross, No Crown came out, and some departures have happened in the band. One of their longtime bassists, I believe, I think Mike Dean was his name, he left a couple of years ago, and this will be a returning drummer, Stanton Moore, who is filling in for, I think in 2020, one of their drummers passed away, if I remember seeing that right. Let me look at this really quickly, actually. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, it was a Mullen. Hold up. Son of a bitch. Why do they always do that type of stuff? But I guess I can understand. Reed Mullen, that's what his name is. Yeah, Reed Mullen. He unfortunately passed away in 2020, which is pretty sad to hear. But they got Stanton Moore returning on the kit, and so some differences and changes have happened for this band. But when I found out they were making a new album this year, I'm like, okay, I'm down for it, because I enjoy me some COC, and and this is actually a 2-disc album, so I was a little hesitant about it, but I'm like, yeah, you know what, we'll only give it a chance. And let's just dive into this thing, shall we? We start off with the opening track, Good God, / Final Dawn. Southern acoustic intro that I really like. There's some nice licks on there that I thought were really cool. Has a nice groove. Really remind me of Deliverance, and that's kind of throughout the entire album as well. Like, there's a lot of songs that really remind me of Deliverance and Wise Blood, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, it was a pretty good way to kick off the album. Then and then it kind of leads into You or Me. Again, more so Wise Blood kind of sound. There's some kind of dissonant riffs that I thought were really nice. Has a nice kind of Lynyrd Skynyrd boogie to it. And it's kind of funny that somebody actually said this when talking about COC. They call them Corrosion of Skynyrd, which I thought was pretty funny, because it's somewhat true if you really think about it. But yeah, has a nice Skynyrd boogie to it, which I thought was nice. And nice kind of bouncy bass groove on that song, which I really dig. And then we get to, I think one of the singles, if not their first single that they put out on this album, Give Me Some More. That is Moore. I guess that's kind of for Stanton Moore, I'm guessing. Actually features guest vocals from one Al Jurgensen of Ministry. And kind of chuggy-like riffs, has more of a punky kind of flair to it. So again, kind of has a bit of a callback to their early style, their early sound. the more kind of like eye for an eye and like more kind of animosity sound that I thought was really, really, really nice. Then we get to The Handler, very Led Zeppelin-like riffs. And Zeppelin's kind of throughout this album as well, with the more kind of like bluesier sound to it. Nice fun drum swing, and I gotta say, Stamp Moore drums his ass off on this album. Like there's a like nice swings and some more like nice percussion on this album that I really do enjoy. And then we get to one of the two instrumentals off this album. How do you say this word? Bedouin's Hand. It's Bedouins. I believe that's how you say that word. More psychedelic stuff. Really reminds me of like early Rolling Stones and The Doors. I kind of get that vibe off of that song in particular, mainly because, again, the more kind of spacey kind of vibe that it has going for it. It's a unique song, in all things considered. So, that was pretty unique. Then we get to Run For Your Life, the longest track on this entire album at a little over 9 minutes. You get some, like, helicopter-like noises, but you get a lot of stuff that really reminds me of, like, Baroness. I get some Monster Magnet kind of vibes off this song. There's a bit of a stoner vibe that I really enjoy. There were some samples that I thought were really unique. And towards the end of the track, you get this, like, these marching drums that, I thought were, like, really, really, really cool. And, again, Baroness and Monster Magnet are kind of spread throughout this album as well. More so on the second disc, more than the first disc, which I thought was really unique. So yeah, the first disc, really, really, really damn good. I thought it kind of flowed a little bit better than on disc 2, which I'm going to get to here in a little bit. But yeah, really damn good way to kick off this 2-disc album. And then we get to the second disc. We kick off with the second title track, Bad Man. Again, more Led Zeppelin vibes, but a lot of ZZ Top. And ZZ Top is kind of spread on this disc as well, which I thought was very nice. Then we get to Lose Yourself. No, it's not an Eminem cover. I think that's a good thing. I like Eminem, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if they would have done a cover like that. There's more synths at the very beginning, but again, very reminiscent of Deliverance, which I thought was very cool. And then we get to Mandra Sonos, I think that's how you say that word. It's more acoustic. Again, it kind of makes you want to go down to the bayou and just kind of like do a little bit of a canoeing tour. Hopefully you avoid the gators. There's a nice cool bass at the end that leads into the second single off of this album, Asleep on the Killing Floor. I get a lot of Black Label Society vibes on this song in particular, but with better vocals. I'm sorry if that offends a lot of BLS fans out there. I just don't like Zakk Wylde's voice. He's a fine guitar player, but I just don't care for his vocals all that much. But I really dig that song in particular. I really love the groove and the riffs on that song. Then we get to Handcuff County. Sounds like something from Alabama. No offense. There's some like train horns. Again, more ZZ Top kind of vibes. And it feels like a full-on jam session. And that's kind of what this whole album, for like both discs are. It feels like glorified jam sessions, but it isn't really distracting. Which I thought was really cool. And it was actually, I believe, funnily enough, that Warren Riker, I believe, does production for this album, and he's done stuff for them, I believe, in Down as well, because, Pepper was in Down, along with, Phil Anselmo, and, Kirk Weinstein and everything like that. So, it's really nice to see the, kind of bit of a connection there as well. So yeah, Handcuff County was a pretty fun song. Then we get to Swallowing the Acre. Nice groove. But you know what this song needs? It needs more cowbell, because there's a fuck ton of cowbell on this song in particular. It's an alright song. I feel like, getting to my negatives here a little bit, but this is where the album was like, okay, let's kind of just wrap this up here a little bit. Then we get to Brickman. It's an acoustic song. It's kind of a nice song, all things considered. Like it kind of feels like an old man that's like strumming his guitar in the background. He's kind of like observing like like the whole state of Louisiana or whatever. And he's kind of just like looking out into like the fields and everything like that. It's a neat song. I'll give it that. But then we get to the final track of this too, and the final track of the entire album, Forever Amplified. And this song is kind of doomy. It has a bit of a I guess kind of like a Sabbath vibe in some capacity, more so like Volume 4 and maybe Master Reality kind of vibe. But then you get those Baroness like riffs again, and then the vocals at the very end are very Robert Plant like, which was a little interesting to say the least. But I guess these were a little more tuneful, I guess you could say, than Robert Plant. So yeah, I think it's a very interesting way to end the album. Now, as far as any negatives I have with it, I guess the only really negatives I have is that you could have probably cut this album down by maybe 11 tracks instead of 14. I felt like it did get a little long in the tooth in some aspects. Like, you could have cut, like, maybe the 2 acoustic songs and maybe Swallow in the Anchor. And I think it would have flowed a little bit better. But I can understand why they went for this style. So it didn't really bother me all that much when it came to the songwriting, because I think the songwriting's fun. I love the vocals. They're very like they're loose in some ways, but they have like the filter vocals, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, I really do enjoy this album. I think this was a pretty damn good listen throughout. Again, not really a whole lot of negativity I can really say on this album, other than it's over an hour long. You could have cut this album by maybe like 10 minutes, and it wouldn't really hurt the album in the outset, but it is what it is. I ain't gonna complain too much about this. So overall, I enjoy damn near every track on this album. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I really dig this one. This was a very nice listen throughout. Again, the songwriting and maybe the songs might sound a little more similar, but it's kind of a more like moody type of album. Like, it really puts you in the mood to like maybe roll a joint every once in a while. But the big standouts were like Give Me More, The Handler, and I would probably say Run for Your Life. I really dig that on disc 1. And then disc 2, I would probably say Handcuff County, Forever Amplified, and Bad Man. Those are like the big standouts to me on these albums. But the rest of the songs, for the most part, are pretty good as well. So, yeah, overall, I'm going to give this 4 stars. So, yeah, folks, that concludes this video for my review of the newest Corrosion of Conformity album. So, what did you guys think about this album? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, tap the big red subscribe button, and tap the bell so when I upload, you guys will be notified. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and most importantly, join the herd. Talk to you guys next video. Peace out.